2003 as a member of the Republican Party and was the Libertarian Party nominee for President of the United States in the 2012 election. Please give a big North Texas welcome to Mr. Gary Johnson.
I'm going to say some things here today that just about any one of you could probably relate to, and probably should be up here saying these things instead of me, but here goes. I grew up around guns. I grew up in South Dakota where hunting was the pastime. Ducks, geese, pheasants. Every weekend we went hunting, me and my dad, and that meant a whole lot of other dads, and it was a way to get together, and it was just an absolute wonderful experience. I was the best wounded pheasant chaser of the whole group, something I took pride in. You know, at age 7, I think I was given my first BB gun, and I can't even begin to tell you how many times I shot that darn thing, and I could have hit a pea at 30 yards. I mean, I knew the arc of that BB, and I could see it, and that was the life that I lived. I understood gun safety also. Inadvertently pointing your gun at somebody else was absolutely unacceptable. And my dad used to say, anybody in the group points a gun at you, meaning inadvertently, you let them know right away. And occasionally I would do that. There was never an issue about that. Sorry, you know, sorry. We understood that. That was the life that we lived. Gun safety courses were something that were offered in school, in the Boy Scouts. I moved to Albuquerque when I was 13. I soon found myself hunting quail in the foothills of Albuquerque with my new buddies. After quail hunting one day, I remember being back at the home of one of my really good friends, and we'd all just gone hunting, and his older brother picks up the shotgun, and he starts pointing at guys in the room. And I came unglued. Stop pointing that gun. You know, it could be loaded. And he starts going boom, boom, boom. You think he said that I would point a loaded gun at anybody? And he's pointing the gun at all of us in the room. You think I would point a loaded gun? And of course, then he takes the pump, and out of the chamber comes a shell along with about 4 other shells. Well, fast forward, 1994. I'm running for governor, and I'm asked about concealed carry. And I really didn't understand it. Well, explain it, what's it all about? Well, the notion that people could carry concealed weapons and that there would be less crime because if you take a parking lot assault, maybe that parking lot assault or robbery or purse snatching isn't going to take place because of who's watching and might be armed. That it will lead to overall less violence because you don't know who's carrying. Well, this was 1995, and this was kind of sort of cutting edge, and my other Republican opponents in the primary, they're all politicians. I'm the non-politician. They're all the non-politicians. And so they're kind of hemming and hawing about concealed carry, and I'm asked about concealed carry, and I said, that's a great idea. I support concealed carry. It just seems to me that common sense would dictate that there would be less violence if we would actually adopt concealed carry. I remember in the primary debate with Democrats where one of the Democratic opponents, he throws a Chicago Bulls baseball cap on the ground and he said, if you are a young person and you wear this cap and you're in the wrong gang, you can be shot. And one of the candidates on stage here is going to make that happen with more regularity, and that's Gary Johnson because he supports concealed carry. Well, in a state that was 2-to-1 Democrat, I got elected and I got re-elected. So I would like to think that people understood what the arguments were. And I know you get into these arguments all the time, but very simply, if guns are outlawed, only outlaws are going to have guns. And then there's the Second Amendment to the Constitution. Why are we even having this discussion in the first place? The right to bear arms is constitutionally guaranteed. So in 1995, the legislature passed concealed carry, and I signed it. You know, all the egregious all the egregious shootings across the country, what if a patriot were carrying and could bring to an end that violence? That's what I always think, is every single one of these atrocities, where's the patriot with the concealed weapon or the weapon that can bring an end to all this? So when the debate starts over limiting the number of rounds a gun can have, there's no limit to the amount of bullets that I should have or a patriot should have if you're going to end a rampant shooting that maybe involves multiple shooters.
Yeah.
Limit the number of bullets that you can fire, and only criminals will have unlimited firepower. Limit or ban assault rifles, only criminals will have assault rifles. Now I know you're thinking, well, no, not just assault, not just criminals will have assault rifles or unlimited ammunition. The government will have assault rifles and unlimited ammunition. And let's not forget why the Second Amendment was written in the first place, is to protect us against an overreaching government, a government that had full power. And so here I come. Oh, remember the California case where, so I'm the one that's out there right now defending this notion of, well, gee, should you be allowed to then own a tank? Well, let's take the most egregious, drug story out there, where government agencies raided a big ranch farm in California because the couple was raising marijuana. They came in, they busted down the doors. The fellow came out with a handgun, and he was shot dead along with his wife. It turned out there was no marijuana on their property. The government seized the property. I think it's still in seizure today, but this is what the government can do. Imagine, just for a second, if this guy owned a tank, or it was known that he owned assault rifles. Would the government have been so capricious if they knew he could crawl into a tank? Probably not. They would have probably handled it in a different way, maybe arresting them at work or away during the day, somewhere else. It would have been better behavior. So defending our rights to have a tank, if we so choose, in some cases might save somebody's life just by being able to sit inside it. So let me come full circle. After the Aurora, Colorado movie theater shootings, I pledged myself that I would go and get my concealed carry permit in New Mexico. So I went to get my concealed carry permit, and what? I got to spend days in class? I have to have it, I have to spend money to get the permit? I have to have it renewed after a certain amount of years? Who signed this? I did. At the time, there was a raging debate. Don't have any of this stuff to go along with concealed carry. Well, I don't think the legislature came to me. Look, 2-to-1 Democrats, the legislature came to me. This is not going to pass unless there are going to be these classes associated with concealed carry. I think to this day, maybe I made the right decision. But that brings me to my last point here, and that is a big, huge thank you to all of you. Your freedom, the freedom that you are exercising to carry, is a freedom that if you don't exercise it, you're going to lose it. And so I applaud you for that. And when I look at concealed carry in New Mexico and the fact that I don't have a number of days to devote to go and get my concealed carry permit, I need to take those days, and I need to make that happen, because if we don't exercise the freedoms that we have, they're going to get taken away. And thank you all very, very much for bringing focus to this issue and other constitutional issues.